Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Full Force News Burst Live with me, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80, coming at you from a slightly different scenario and a little bit guerrilla warfare at the moment. But we're, working around the time that we have. I thought I'd jump on and chat about Red Laser, who pops up today at Walmart Comic Con. Sorry, Collector-Con, not Comic. What am I talking about? Walmart Collector-Con. So we'll be talking about that little cheeky reveal. And maybe some kind of like another thing of like, I wonder, no classified popped up. Weird, isn't it? So yeah, I'm intrigued as to if we're going to see any kind of classified Walmart or Target stuff before the end of the year. Who knows? Maybe it's all being saved for the start of next year, because we do know there are Target and Walmart exclusives lined up for that. Hello, everyone in the chat as well. Hi, Stygian. Hi, Ryan. Hi, The Real Zim. Ed. Charlock. My bad. Lone Dragon. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm just here for the camaraderie, says Ryan. Brilliant. Well, you're going to get loads of that. Let's get stuck into what we saw today then anyway, which is really cool. And that is an Ultimates Red Laser. So this was a nice surprise. I was kind of, I was in that mode this morning of just, constantly refreshing just in case, because, oh, that's a good, yeah, before we get going, hope if anyone is in Florida right now, I hope you're all safe and doing okay, because obviously that hurricane is crazy. John says, no power, but my Joes are safe. I'm glad I'm one of those things, John. But in any case, if you're in Florida right now and, you have my thoughts, not that really means anything, but I definitely hope you guys are okay at the moment. So if you are watching somehow from Florida and you've still just about got power, or you're watching on your phone or whatever, we're thinking about you. It sucks at the moment. So anyway, let's get stuck into this scenario. So I saw a few comments straight away going, I don't know who this character is. Amazing. After all this time, you'd think like all of the Palatoy sort of era Action Force characters were sort of in the general lexicon now, but it's not the case. There are still a few people that aren't aware of these characters. So I will just, before we go into this, let's just explain that during the Palatoy era in the UK for Action Force, the kind of 82 to 85 period, there was obviously a period where we had 5-point of articulation figures, and there was a kind of in-between period where we had some G.I. Joe repaints incorporated as vehicle drivers into the line. And one of them was Cobra Commander repainted into Red Laser. It came with the Laser Exterminator, or the red repainted HAL. And that basically was, it was a repainted Cobra Commander, but they did a really cool job by kind of painting the top part black with put the two eyes on it. So it really did, separate the two figures, I would say. In any case, that was a character that was also in the Battle Action Force comics as well. And yeah, if you are involved, if you didn't know who Red Laser is and you're in on the deluxe treasury editions from Brian Hickey at Total Toy Books, then you're in for a treat, because you'll get to know Red Laser quite well in that in those groups of stories that are coming out in those 3 compendiums. Now, anyway, that is Red Laser. Now, SUPER7 I've noticed this a lot recently with their Ultimates, doing a lot more kind of exclusive repaints at the moment, and we're not getting as many of the 4-figure waves. Now, I know a lot of people just got the last 4-figure wave in. I think CoverGirl, Crimson Guard, Gung Ho, and somebody else. Who else is in that lineup? Completely forgotten now. Blood, maybe? But it's, again, I know a lot of people have got those recently delivered, so there's a wave for you. But they haven't really been releasing a lot of wave format Ultimates figures. We just had, of course, that kind of version 2 Storm Shadow if he was in Sunbow sort of reveal for BBTS. And now we've got this for Walmart Comic Con. So I think a lot of people, and myself included, I was kind of looking and hoping as I'm refreshing the page on for Walmart Comic Con sneak peek to see either sneak peek or any other than Night Force Joes or Night Force related bad guys sort of thing. I was kind of hoping that to be the case, honestly, with Classified. That said, when this popped up, I was very shocked, but also really excited that they were doing another, UK sort of Palatoy nod. We've got, the Red Shadows logo emblazoned there as well. It's all over the box. It's really cool, and it's a pretty nice repaint of Cobra Commander. I have to say, here is the box and the sheath of the box as well. The kind of cover that slides over the box. So you've got that kind of Red Shadows skull on a kind of red and darker red camouflage background, which is very nice indeed. This is going to go very nicely, isn't it, with Red Jackal and Red Knock Baroness. I think it's a nice little kind of collection at the moment of those sorts of characters, those kind of foreign versions of characters. I wonder if we'll see Quarrel, or I'm trying to think of other ones, Gaucho, Jammer, because they've both got Stalker and Quarrel, Gaucho, and Jammer. It's like I'm cheating, Ed, but I just saw your comment. Quarrel, Gaucho, and Jammer should all be on the list now. Yeah, definitely. Roadblock and Major Blood. Thank you, Ryan. It wasn't Gung Ho, was it? It was Cover Girl, Crimson Guard, Roadblock, and Major Blood. Thank you. I'm not doing the Ultimates line, but I want Red Laser and Classified, says Rachel. Yeah, same. Full Force Rules. Hello, Team Full Force. Hello, Team Force. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much. Chris, did you get Super7 Ultimates Red Jackal? I didn't, actually, but I did get to do a box, like an unboxing. Thank you. Thanks to Andrew Franks, who lent me his Red Jackal and Red Knock Baroness to do that unboxing with. I did say in the video, actually, but yeah, I don't expect you to remember all that. Ed says Super7 needs to sneak out one more wave of new Joe sculpts because I can't consider the set complete without a Shipwreck. That's a good point, actually. Shipwreck is a big kind of missing character in the Ultimates for sure. Stygian says, not to be a downer, but I've walked away from these. Stygian, it's totally fine. You can collect what you want to collect. You know what I mean? And again, I've been on record to say that, the Ultimates are a little bit out of my price range, honestly. Classified is at that kind of it's just a good price point, and there's a decent quality there. I love these figures, these Ultimates figures. They're amazing. I have Wave 1, courtesy of Super7, and I have Flint, courtesy of a listener of the show, and they're all amazing. Really into all of those figures, but it's one of those things where I can't be buying these and Classified and all the other stuff. So I really had to make a significant, I had to make a decision on that one. And the decision was actually made for me, really. Ryan says, so Red Laser was an individual. I assumed it was a generic trooper, one of many. No, this was a standalone character. Red Laser was actually, I want to say, of Asian descent. I think Japanese, and also carried a sword as well in the comics. I still have Cobra Commander Ultimates, but the rest are gone, says Stygian. John says Walmart has been putting them on clearance. Yeah, and they're also changing how they're doing this now. So it looks like Ultimates, or a certain subline of Ultimates, will be coming out from a cheaper price point with less accessories. So I don't know. I'm more inclined to see how that pans out, because we've seen it with Thundercats, I think, so far, or we've seen reveals and information about that. And that's something I will talk to Brian about once we finally lock down a day. I will also say on this episode right now, I do have a date locked in with Shooting the Galaxy. So we should be doing that, I think next week. Hang on, what's the date? It might be a bit further on than I thought. It's in 2 weeks' time. So we'll be doing that in 2 weeks' time. and I'm excited to do that with him. Kenny says, so sexy. The figure looks cool too. You're too kind, Kenny. How you doing, buddy? I wish Hasbro would deep cut into the 1980s Action Force from the UK, Z-Force, Robo Skulls, Q and Z-Force, etc. Yes, Jay, absolutely. They kind of are slowly, says Ed. Yeah, I guess they are, aren't they? De-ultimizing, I'm down with that. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing. They're kind of, I don't think they'd be called Ultimates. I think they're called something else, but I can't remember now. Charlotte says, maybe less so for these, but Super 7 Ultimates regularly go on a major sale on Entertainment Earth. I don't collect them, but I've seen some very deep discounts on there that would make them affordable. Yeah, totally. I don't obviously want to do that most of the time. I think I'm either supporting it or I'm not supporting it. You're not, but in this sense, I can't. Anyway, this really nice packaging, love it. And yeah, figure looks good. Render anyway. This is of course the render of Red Laser on an explosion background with the accessories that he comes with. So he's got a couple of Cobra Commander pistols and a rifle from like the Sunbow cartoon, I believe. And then you've got lots of different hand attachments, binoculars from, I think, Duke, and a little walkie-talkie that a lot of them have, but it's got the Red Shadows logo on it, so it makes it Red Shadowsy. I probably would have thrown a sword in here, just because we've got swords in the Ultimates line already. I mean, take one from Storm Shadow, maybe. I would definitely have had a sword in here with Red Laser, just because of that extra deep cut sort of, characterization. But yeah, and I mean, there's a possibility of an alternate head, but obviously with these, it's more of a quick and easy repaint sort of thing as an exclusive, and I totally get that. But there is an unmasked head of Red Laser that you can see again if you read those deluxe treasury editions when they come through. Very excited for those. I can't even tell you. Rachel says Hasbro's given us Tiger Force Outback and is giving us Glenda and Quarrel, so all international figures should be on the table. 100%, Rachel. I'm sure that's the case. It's just a matter of where it fits for Hasbro. It's a lot easier for Super 7 because they've got all these lines which just suit any character at any time. So Ultimates exclusive kind of base things, yes, you can squeeze in the occasional international variant repaint, right? That makes a lot of sense. For Hasbro, it's like every time a HasLab comes around, or like the 2-pack with Quarrel is really good. I mean, the Tiger Force Outback's a great shout as well as an exclusive European exclusive figure, all of which slotted in very nicely to Classified's mainline. Really, I mean, Tiger Force was the Target exclusive, wasn't it? Quarrel was a Walmart exclusive with a 2-pack with Falcon, and it's not even mainline at all. And then Glenda was HasLab with Dragonfly, but then they don't feel like, obviously they're not in the 4-figure wave, I get that, but they're still within reach, if that makes sense. It's not like totally crazy, whereas Glenda is, you're getting the HasLab if you want Glenda, do you know what I mean? Or you're paying over the odds for it after the fact. Kenny says Super 7 is giving us this great international stuff in Reaction and Ultimate. Safe to assume they're on the table for Reaction Plus 2. Absolutely, Kenny. The only thing I would say to that is that if it exists in the line already, we probably aren't going to get it in Reaction Plus, because as Brian has mentioned, they're not, if they do like a Snake Eyes version 2, for example, he's going to have blue bits on him. I think that was probably a bit of a reach, but that was the difference. The Cobra Commander we got was Sunbow-esque and definitely had a different head sculpt and an ever so slightly more focused cartoon deco. So that's how they're getting around that. The Battle Android Trooper was a comic version, so obviously that didn't exist in the blue with a different head sculpt. I get that as well. And CoverGirl didn't exist as a Reaction Plus, as an O-ring figure prior to that, with the blonde hair. So, if they do it, they're going to have to do it differently. I think even in this kind of situation with a Red Laser and a Red Jackal and a Goucher and a Jammer, because they exist already. And my argument to that would be, it's okay. You can redo those because nobody's getting those for cheap or anywhere near a decent amount of money. Like, you're not going to get an original Gaucho easily. You're not going to get an original Jammer easily. You're not going to get an original. And I mean, when I say easily, I mean, at a budget as well. So you're going to have to sweat a little bit, and you're also going to have to pay out over the odds for those particular figures. Brian did say it wasn't his job to undercut the secondary market. Absolutely. He has said that, and that's why that leads me to believe he won't do these particular figures, Rachel. But I'm saying personally, I don't mind if you want to release these. Seriously. I expect a SUPER7 Hector Ramirez at this point, says Carl. I agree. I'd love a Hector Ramirez in the O-ring now. Now we have O-ring. And he'd be perfect in Ultimates because you get to give him loads of cool gear. He could be an exclusive as well. Like the camera, like a clipboard with 20 questions written on it. Not literal 20 questions, but like the 20, maybe just lines. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. This wasn't going to be a long episode, but I will turn my attention now to the fact that we do have. Let me also, while I'm here, even though I haven't prepared it on the previous. Sorry about this, guys. I haven't prepared it on the previous this slide we're in at the moment, so I'm just going to open another slide and select this one. So this is what we're operating with as listings for 2025, right? From 2024, which is just prior to this one, yeah, nothing is left on there that we haven't already seen. Got pre-orders for, or just waiting for Nemesis Immortal, which I have been told is coming soon, right? So going into 2025, I look at, on the exclusive side of things, SP Philip, that unknown 2-pack, SP Cartman 2-pack, for Target, right? Then for Walmart, you've got GG Hudson, GG Brooklyn 2-pack, and the GG Lexington 2-pack. And don't get confused if you're looking at GG Goliath thinking that's a Walmart exclusive. As far as I'm aware, it's not. It's Pulse exclusive. They just start they're just messing with us now. But yeah, like I'm looking at those and thinking, interesting that we didn't see any of those. I know it says 2025, but what this list is referring to is in hand. So as you know, Xandar, Saw Viper, Leatherneck, and Dial Tone on the left-hand side of the screen have already been revealed and pre-ordered. The HasLab Rattler is already out for pre-order, but it's in hand. So in 2025, we will have Xandar, Saw Viper, Leatherneck, and Dial Tone. So the start of 2025 will be Frag Viper, Blowtorch, Darklon, and Footloose. And then the next wave of 4 will be Yojo June. And then the next wave of 4 will probably be in hand 2026, based on how things go. Or we might, or then, yeah. So that would be the end of the year going into 2026. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, actually, of listings on here. Similar thing happened to the last, we get the listings and we just put them in, there you go. Otherwise we'll be here for months. So when you look at the fact that we did have some Target exclusives there, I'm thinking now that maybe we're on some sort of cycle where we won't see Target and Walmart exclusives either until next year, or they're saving them so that the people can be given enough advanced warning that a Target or Walmart exclusive is approaching. But the funny thing is, they could have done a sneak peek today for Classified on the Walmart Comic Collecticon, because it is technically, it's a sneak peek. It's not a pre-order drop. So it wouldn't be like, you wouldn't be getting the same problem there that people have had with Tiger Force Wreckage, for example, which was a Target exclusive, of course, that was a surprise drop. The only reason I think anyone knew that anything was coming was because we had a listing that said it was going to be a pre-order on that day. So it was like very, I think a lot of people missed that and were a bit angry about it. So I get that. And I think Hasbro understand that as well. And I think that might be why we didn't see that SP Philip listing appear for Target very recently during their full geek out. Now, the other alternative is that they're just pushed everything to 2025, and we'll see the Target and Walmart kind of refresh almost going into the next year. And then, like I said, we could also see them drop with a little bit more advanced warning, maybe like, later this year at some point. Nightfall sneak peek confirmed, says Jello Ben. Yeah, I mean, I've done that joke about 50 times in the last couple of days. I can't help myself. But yeah, so that anyway, we know what some are. We know what some some of them we don't know what they are, but some of them we do know what they are, and we'll have to hold fire until obviously more information kind of comes out. Paul says, "Hi, Chris and all. I'm late to the stream, but I wish they had given us that hairdryer venom pistol with our actual Coco. Did you not? Did that not come with? Did that not come with regular Cobra Commander? That's interesting. I thought it had come. You're talking which version you're talking about, Paul? Because I'm almost certain that came with the Ultimates figure, but I could be wrong. I could be very wrong there. Anyway, yeah, that is everything I think I wanted to talk about today. It's a short one, sorry, short but sweet. But I will be back on Saturday with Pat to do the weekly. And if there's any news tomorrow, we'll jump on it then as well. But anyway, hope you have a great rest of your Thursday evening. Let's switch back to this on the screen so we know what we're talking about. Just in summary, for those that are late or have missed it, SUPER7 dropped Ultimates Red Laser on Walmart CollectorCon earlier today as a sneak peek, and the pre-order goes up. I forgot to mention this, but the pre-order goes up on the 18th, I think, right? 18th and 19th, 17th and 18th, something like that. I can't remember. I think it's something around that time for Walmart CollectorCon. I can find out because it'll tell me how many exact days there are. Walmart CollectorCon begins in 6 days. 17 hours, 26 minutes and 49 seconds. So that is when you'll be able to pre-order Red Laser. He's also $55 for those of you who didn't know that. And that will be on Walmart online specifically as well. Cool. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate the kind words. Just said we love your show, Chris. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate that. I tended not to use the vintage toy weapons with the Ultimates Joes, if only so there's some variety, says Ed. I tended to not use the vintage toy weapons with the Ultimates Joes. Oh, okay. Right. So you've used like kind of more of their, the different, I get it. Cool. SUPER7 Ultimates Coco came with a Sunbow pistol and the Deep pistol, not hairdryer. Interesting, Paul. I completely missed that. Completely missed that. I have that figure. I've had it out, played with it. I have no idea that I completely forgot that that didn't happen. Carl Fitz says Renegade Con tomorrow for their RPG game stuff. Yes, hope they do. Like they're going to have a little section on new stuff coming for the year, so we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow. So maybe there'll be a little bit of news to discuss tomorrow with Renegade Con, and that'll just be on the Saturday weekly anyway. So we'll just carry it over to that. There's a little bit of comic news to discuss as well for Saturday. And other than that, it's been quite a quiet week. So thank you to SUPER7 for giving us this to talk about. But there's your Coco gun, Paul, says Mr. Mad Gus. Yes, indeed. So you can just buy this one now for $55. It's only cost you $110 just to get that gun. Jared says, hello, Chris. Can you comment on the Vamp re-release rumors? All I can say, Jared, on that is that I think this has come out of the interview I did with Lenny and Tony. So if you want to hear a bit more information about it, then just go watch that interview, because I mentioned it to them. I said that is there any, was there any likelihood that we'll get a re-release for the Vamp? And they answered as clear as they could. They said it's not something they can speak to, but they are aware of the issue and they've got their eyes on it, kind of thing. So it's a possibility, but in terms of like anything more than that, I think it's just basically come about because of that question I asked. Well, I say I asked it. It was one of many of you guys had put forth the question in the socials, so I used it as a listener viewer question. kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's just from that basically, because I don't think there's any like specific information yet that would suggest that there's some sort of re-release, like, you know, shipping information or port info and stuff like, you know, like sometimes we'll know that some stuff has come into port, what have you. So to talk about it, Jared, is all I can really comment on is that question I posed to the guys in that interview, and they said that it's certainly an issue they're aware of and that they're, I guess, monitoring. So it's a possibility for sure. But is it, as with everything that's a rumor, it's not fully officially confirmed as yet. Alexandros, hello from Cyprus. I apologize if it's already mentioned. Will Retro Flint be a new head sculpt? Hello, Alex. Alexandros, whatever you prefer. I'm going to say on that one, I don't know. I just assume it's going to be a new figure because we know a Retro Flint's coming in the listings, but I don't know any details about that specifically. I would assume so. I would assume it would be new head sculpt. It would be not that I love that Flint figure, by the way. I love classified Flint, one of my favorite figures, and I really like the Tiger Force one as well. But I get it, and I know people want more retro, you know, styled Flints. But I assume that there's going to be a new head, new secondary, etc., etc. A new figure, I would imagine, with maybe some reused like legs or something. I don't know, but I don't know is the answer. I'm just assuming that. I would be in the want re-release vamp territory, says Carl. Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of us would. I think a lot of people would, because it was extraordinarily popular, sold out, and was popped in like every now and again, but not for very long. Chris Simpson says, has the team considered vehicle reissues in retro boxes with their drivers reissued on retro cards? I don't know. That's a cracking question, but again, that would be something that they couldn't really talk about. I think that's one of those ones that they would just be like, we can't talk about it. But that's a great question and a really fun way of redoing vehicles. You could do, I mean, what would a retro vamp look like? You'd just be taking the fire extinguisher away from it. I don't know, but like certainly in terms of getting another version of you know, a vehicle out or doing a retro vehicle would be really cool. And to have like, a carded figure like inside the box, like in a card, would be really, really awesome. Short sleeves for Flint, says Ryan. Indeed. Hashtag that. Right. Half an hour. That's what you've had from me. And I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me on today's episode. Like I said, I will be back probably tomorrow, depending on if there's any news. But most likely I'll see you Saturday morning. And if anything changes, I'll go live with a weekly on Friday if anything changes, but we're aiming for Saturday and for Pat to be involved. So I will hopefully see you then. Right then, stay fresh cheese bags. And after 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3, full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/TheFullForce. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.